Hey everybody. So yesterday was a really exciting day for me, and that is because I tweeted at Dave Rubin, and he actually responded to me, and which was really exciting because he responded to me several times, and I'm gonna go through that. But for those of you who don't know, Dave Rubin, he used to work at the Young Turks, and then he left. But when he left, he started saying a bunch of really negative things about the Young Turks and the people that work there, and just the left in general. And he still classifies himself as like someone on the more leftern end of the spectrum. He calls himself a classical liberal, but by any reasonable definition, he's basically a libertarian. Like he just espouses a bunch of libertarian talking points, and he usually isn't able to properly defend them. He famously went on the Joe Rogan podcast and said that we should get rid of the post office and safety regulations. And then when Joe Rogan gave him some pretty minor pushback, Dave Rubin wasn't able to respond. It's pretty funny. It's really funny to see it go down. And he is also a member of not an official member because it's not an official group, but the intellectual dark web is a group that considers themselves a bunch of free thinkers that care about debate and just the battle of ideas. But in reality, it's a bunch of people with pretty conservative leanings that just talk about why PC culture and cancel culture, why those are bad. That's the vast majority of what they do on the intellectual dark web, and it's pretty funny. And I encourage you guys to look up both Dave Rubin and the intellectual dark web, and find out more about what I'm talking about. But let's get into my discussion with Dave Rubin. So Dave Rubin tweeted, "The IDW, the intellectual dark web, formed organically as an intellectually diverse set of people trying to tackle tough issues. Now the choice is upon us and every free thinker. Try to salvage the left as it literally burns the world, or make interesting, rich alliances with those on the right. Game on." And so I decided to respond to that tweet. I thought it was pretty crazy. I said, intellectually diverse, you're all conservatives. I think that most people would agree with that. Even the most like left person on the intellectual dark web is like a neoliberal, like at best. It's probably like Sam Harris. He's probably like the most left person. He still has given these crazy ideas such as like that we should like nuke the Middle East and things like that. But this like the most left person. And then so Dave Rubin actually responded to me, and I was pretty shocked. He goes, "Yes, I'm a gay, married, pro-choice, against the death penalty conservative. If you mean conservatives are politically and ideologically diverse, then yes, I agree." So a couple things to tackle with that. But actually, I won't go into what I think of that right away because I responded. I responded with what I think of that. I said, one, being gay isn't a political ideology. That seems pretty straightforward. Don't see how you'd argue with that. Two, you support complete deregulation of the economy. Now, I wish I hadn't said complete. He doesn't support complete deregulation of the economy. He just supports things like getting rid of safety standards and getting rid of the post office and getting rid of most taxes. But I shouldn't have said complete. And three, he goes, you align with conservatives on every major issue. This is true. He aligns with conservatives on everything. Four, you literally have a video called "Why I Left the Left," implying you are not left. That this is true. He has a video talking about why he is not on the left anymore. So, but yet he constantly calls himself left. He talks about how he uses his sexuality all the time and says that that's why he's like, people will be like, "You're a conservative." He's like, "But I'm a gay man." It's like, that doesn't make you not a conservative. Your sexual orientation has nothing to do with your political ideology. And he always uses these two, that he's pro-choice and against the death penalty. He does not come to these opinions from a like progressive place. He comes to these opinions because he is a libertarian. He doesn't want the government to do anything. But he's insincere about this and brings up these two little things. And he says he's pro-choice. Every single time he talks to Ben Shapiro, he talks about, "Oh yeah, I'm like kind of good. I'm kind of pro-life, but like I say I'm pro-choice." He all the time he does this all the time. But he's just so. He just lies basically that he's like a left person, and he uses this fact that he like used to work for the Young Turks and he's like a left-wing guy that he says that way he can like act like when he talks to conservatives he's reaching across the aisle, when in reality he's talking to people who he agrees with on like most things. But he responded to me again, which I'm really surprised by. Number one, correct, glad you see conservatives show tolerance. And so like I don't think that he like understands, like I'm like calling him a conservative, and like I said you're a conservative. He said, "I'm a gay man." I said, "That has nothing to do with political ideology." And he's like, see, conservatives accept gay people, which just traditionally just don't. I believe that George Bush wanted like an amendment to the Constitution that like gay marriage was illegal. I know that like a lot of Democrats were also against gay marriage, but like I just think that like I just think that the look it up. Just we can just look it up. Who was more recently against gay marriage? Two, but mostly. This is in reference to me saying that he wants to deregulate the economy. Like I said, I wish I hadn't said total and complete because that gave him that little out right there. He goes, "No, but mostly. And total deregulation isn't a conservative position. That's libertarian. Libertarians are conservative, Dave. Libertarian, like, that is a conservative thing. That is almost the most conservative. If you have a political spectrum, libertarian is on the far right of that spectrum. They want no government. But he even says no, but here's the problem with it, it goes even deeper because he goes no, but mostly. So he doesn't want total deregulation. He wants mostly deregulation. And then he goes, total deregulation is a libertarian. And so he doesn't support total, though. So he wouldn't be a libertarian. He would support mostly regulation, mostly deregulation. So if we go right to the barely left of libertarians, that would be conservatives. That is exactly where he would be. It doesn't go, oh, libertarians and slightly to the left progressives. It goes libertarians and slightly to the left conservatives. And then way all the way on the left is progressives. He's not on the left like he claims to be. And he goes, not on abortion, death penalty, edict. So he says, etc. But he only ever talks about these two issues. One, he's really not pro-choice. Like, he consistently cops out on that issue. Death penalty, like, I'm glad that he's against the death penalty. But those are the only two issues he aligns even semi with progressives on. And, like, I'm gonna use an example. I am super pro free speech. I am like a super hard, I really, really support free speech. I don't call myself a conservative because of that, though. Because on every but even though I would accept that most conservatives probably would, like, I would align with conservatives when it comes to free speech, I guess, because I just support the First Amendment, like, wholeheartedly. And that's not to say, like, progressives don't. I think that a lot of, like, left-wing, like, commentators and stuff, people like Kyle Kalinske or maybe, like, Anna Kasparian and stuff, they would probably align with me when it comes to free speech. But still, I will even concede that is more probably like a conservative anti-government thing. I don't want the government regulating speech. But I would never call myself a conservative because of that. Dave Rubin, he might be against the death penalty, but that doesn't make you on the left. That doesn't make it like an intellectually diverse thing for you to, like, talk to people on the right just because you're against the death penalty. When you don't debate them on the death penalty, that's the thing. He talks about how he's pro-choice and he's against the death penalty, but he never debates these things. When these people come on his show, when Ben Shapiro comes on his show, when, like, trying to think of other people who have come on a show. A bunch of people have come on a show. Sorry, I'm blanking on that. It's just ridiculous. And then 4, he goes, yes, I did leave the left. It's an authoritarian mental institution. And so then, right there, for this guy who says he cares so much about, like, oh, being intellectually diverse, he just says, oh, no, but there's this, like, whole segment of, like, political ideology that, like, they're an authoritarian mental institution. So, like, no, of course I don't talk to them. But then it's like, he just made my point. He left the left, so you're not a left, you're a conservative. That's, like, literally by definition. And then he goes, 5, good night. So like, classy. That's a classic Twitter response. And then so I responded to him, you used it as evidence that you aren't conservative. And so basically, I'll go through these pretty quickly because these are my responses to, like, what I already said. But yeah, he said he used it as evidence that he isn't conservative, so he can't just, like, use his sexual orientation to, like, get around the fact that he's conservative. 2, if we look at the political spectrum, libertarians are on the conservative end. That's basically what I just said. 3, you only ever use those 2. It's all you have. That is totally true. It is all that he has, and he doesn't come to them from a left position. He comes to them because he leans more libertarian, which makes him a conservative. 4, unless you prove my point that you don't actually care about intellectual diversity. And then he responded to me again. So when he said goodnight, I guess he's still up, I guess. He goes, this is called moving the goalposts. Man, you are boring. See ya. And then, I swear to you, he tweets this at me, but I didn't see that he tweeted it at me. You want to know why, guys? Because he blocked me. He blocked me and then tweeted it, so I couldn't respond. This guy had the audacity to block me and then respond. And this is the guy who says he cares so much about debate and free speech and discussion and how much he just wants the ideas to battle out. He couldn't debate what I was saying. He claimed that I was moving the goalpost, which I would argue wasn't even kind of moving the goalpost. Like, it's just true. He doesn't come to pro-choice and against the death penalty from a left position. He comes to him from I don't think the government can do anything right, and so I don't support the government doing anything. That is where he comes to that. You are not a conservative because you support those things, if that is the logic that you use to get there. But Dave Rubin is just so intellectually dishonest, and he just doesn't understand, like, just basic, like, political things, where he, like, uses the fact that he's a gay man as a reason that he's, like, not a conservative, which is just ridiculous. If anyone's ever heard of Milo Yiannopoulos, I mean, you would know that, like, being gay does not make you not a conservative. And so it's just ridiculous. But I consider that I have entered a different tier. It was kind of a stepping stone, because I know that people like Sam Cedar, Michael Brooks, Anna Kasparian, they have all also been blocked by Dave Rubin, and so I'm proud to enter that Probably not an elite circle, because I imagine Dave Rubin blocks people that disagree with him all the time, even though he says he cares about free speech and debate and everything. Also, fun little thing: just about every single person that I've brought up, like on the left, has offered to debate Dave Rubin, because he calls them out all the time and says negative things about them all the time. He won't debate any of them. Sam Cedar famously said, "I will debate you anywhere, anytime, any place, anything. I will pay for it. I will do anything." His only request is that they film it, and Dave Rubin will not do it. He just won't do it. And this is a guy that says that the left is afraid of debate. The left silences people. He's the one that blocked me. Like he's every time he ever talks about how PC culture, cancel culture, well, that's bad. Well, he couldn't handle a few someone bringing up clear contradictions in what he says he believes, and he decided to silence my speech. So next time he talks about conservatives always get silenced on social media, he decided to do a little silencing today. And so I just thought this was a little fun. I wanted to share it with you guys. I was just excited that he replied to me, just because, I have like not very many Twitter followers, so that was cool that he replied to me. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think you guys thought it was fun. If you guys disagreed with anything I said, if you're a Dave Rubin fan, please reach out to me. I would love to hear why. But yeah, if you guys disagree with anything, please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.